Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and today we're going to be looking at a band called Slaughter to Prevail. Never heard of them before, so I had to do a bit of research to find out what I could about them, and I actually found quite a considerable amount of information, so you may have to bear with me for a minute here. But what I found is, Slaughter to Prevail is a Russian deathcore band from Yekaterinburg in Russia, obviously, with them being Russian. Although, prior to forming Slaughter to Prevail, British guitarist Jack Simmons was part of London-based deathcore act Arcania, whereas Russian vocalist Alex Terrible gained a cult following online for his YouTube vocal cover videos. Terrible was also originally part of the Russian deathcore act We Are Obscurity, however the group fell apart after failing to find a record label. Simmons then went on to recruit Terrible together with Russian drummer Anton Podyachi, I'm probably pronouncing that horribly, I do apologise, to form what would later become Slaughter to Prevail. They released an EP titled Chapters of Misery, and the official videos for the songs Hell and Misery. Both videos hit millions of views on YouTube. Due to their success, they managed to get signed to Sumerian Records, an American record label, in 2016, and they re-released Chapters of Misery with a new song and video as the Vultures Circle, as their debut release under the label. In May 2016, it was announced that Slaughter to Prevail would be joining bands such as Cannibal Corpse and for Summer Slaughter, joining bands such as Cannibal Corpse for Summer Slaughter in 2016. The band released their first full-length album, Misery Sermon, in 2017, the vocalist Terrible mentioning that the album was inspired by the hate and misery seen in everyday life, especially due to the idea that metal shows in Russia are sometimes cancelled due to religious reasons. Slaughter to Prevail were once again invited to perform at Summer Slaughter in 2017 alongside bands such as the Black Dahlia Murder and Dying Fetus, but they were ultimately unable to make the tour due to visa issues. They were also invited to join Suicide Silence on the 10th anniversary tour for their album The Cleansing, and was set to perform in America and Canada in November and December. However, once again, the band encountered visa issues due to the American visa freeze for Russians. So there you go. Quite a bit of information going on there. Now, I like the fact that it was mentioned in here that the album Misery Sermon is inspired by the hate and misery seen in everyday life, you know, and this is something that a lot of metal music draws from, and a lot of people fail to see that. People who don't listen to metal music fail to notice how deep lyrical meanings can be in metal music. They think it's all just hell, Satan, and, you know, devil worship. So, you know, I'm intrigued to see what's going on there. So we're going to be looking at a track called Demolisher. I have no idea what this is going to be like. I mean, it says they're deathcore, and I'm always a bit iffy when it comes to the core style of music, because everybody seems to have a very, very wide sort of descriptor of what the sound could be. It can be, one day deathcore can mean one thing, and the next day it can mean something completely different, so I'm not sure what to expect. But anyway, we'll jump into the track now. So, Demolisher by Slaughter to Prevail. Let's have a look.
It's Demolisher!
Oh, that was a very sudden end. Do you know what? I have to say, I really, really enjoyed that. Like I said, I can be a bit sort of skeptical when it comes to these core bands because normally it all sounds the same, or sometimes it's like very, 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 very strange. But I really liked that, especially when it came to that chorus. It had a really good sort of groove to it. I really, really enjoyed that. That was very interesting. Now, the actual song itself, I'm not sure what sort of meaning I might be able to pull from it. I really don't know. Anyway, the song actually goes, look into my eyes and see in them your worth reflection, tearing all the templates invented by intranquility. Ugh, God, I can't read today. Our highest goal is slaughtering by domination. New steps spit on what you call morality. Paradox stepping up the brink of social to isolated from society. In our hearts lies the secret formula of life. Grin so they think you're fine, man. Then it goes into that chorus. Just throw your eyes away and see the pain. You look at me and you're feeling all your pathetic fears. You just have nothing to say. You are nothing. You feel like through your veins flows your tears. It goes then into verse 2. Freak similitude of God. It looks like he was sick. It looks like he got shot. I just want power like you have. Look into my eyes and see reflection. Oh, slaughtering by domination. So they've made a couple of sort of allusions to God here, for example, and they're saying it looks like he's sick, and I just want the power you have. So maybe, I don't know, Demolisher, the God Demolisher at will, he can kill whoever he wants to at will, and I'm really not sure, because there's a lot of there's lots of stuff in here to sort of suggesting maybe, again, it's another one of these songs about religion, taking over, being dominant. There's our highest goal is slaughtering by domination. And this is sort of like something that the Christian church was wont to do. If people didn't believe or follow their religion, they would literally either torture them into changing their mind and becoming a Christian, or killing them because they were evil and sinners, and this is a paradox stepping up the brink of fucking social. So, it's paradoxical, they claim to be this good, all-loving, encompassing religion, whereas in fact they're actually really cruel and evil because they're killing and torturing people just because they don't believe in the same God as them. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what to take from this song, but anyway, and carried on. Back into the chorus, it goes, just throw your eyes away and see the pain. You look at me and you're feeling all your pathetic fears. You just have nothing to say. You are nothing. You feel like through your veins flows your tears. And it goes into a bridge moment. It says, heartbeat slows down, My skin is cold. Just give me your hatred and your fear. I soak up all this shit. Match flies into gasoline. Yeah. And then it goes into a breakdown which was actually spoken in Russian. Now, I'm not even going to attempt to try and pronounce any of the words that were said here phonetically, because I do have a phonetic translation, but I also have a English translation of what was said. How accurate this translation is, I don't know, so you will have to excuse me here. If it is wrong, what I have as a translation is, everyone will be taken away, everything that he loves so much. There are no broken destinies. From birth, fire burns in his eyes, death comes up, it wakes you up. Demolisher. Oh. And that's the translation I've got. Like I said, whether it's accurate or not, I'm not 100% certain. And then it goes into the outro. Just throw your eyes away and see the pain. Look at me and feel all your pathetic fears. Just throw your eyes away and see the pain. Look at me and feel all your pathetic fears. And that's the end of the track. You know, it comes to that sudden stop there. And like I said, I really like the track. I think it was really, really good. It sounded great. Video I didn't get much to see because I was too busy reading the lyrics, but they were all wearing these funky sort of gold demon masks, which kind of remind me a little bit of the band for Ghost. You know, they're always wearing those gargoyle masks, and in a way they kind of look similar, except the ones in Ghost don't have any mouths, and these have got the sharp-jawed teeth going on. But yeah, that was quite interesting. I'm very interested to check out some more of their stuff, because that was very unexpected, and I did enjoy it. And for a deathcore band, that was interesting. I mean, it was heavy, you know, the drums were heavy. It kind of reminded me of a slightly lighter version of the Berserker. Now, I really like the Berserker, they are insane. But they also use heavily triggered drums, and, you know, in the first album they used drum machines. And in here, it sounded to me like maybe the drums were triggered, but I don't think they were using any sort of digital drums whatsoever. But it was really fast, it was really heavy, it sounded really great. And, you know, he switched up the vocal styles. As everybody knows, it's something that I really, really enjoy. And thankfully it wasn't one of these ones where it was like growly, and then it suddenly switched to almost teenage, angsty, clean vocals. You know, it wasn't one of those, thankfully. This was all proper, brutal, heavy, growled vocals. So, you know, I really, really liked it. Very, very good. Very glad I checked that out. But I can't think of anything else to say on that at the moment, so I'll just leave that as it is for the time being. Now, if anybody would like to suggest a track for me to react to, then please do so by all means. You can drop a comment in the comment section below, or message me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or you could even message me through my Patreon, where you could also help to support this channel, which would be of immense help to me. There is an option in Patreon where you can get your suggestion jumped to the front of the queue, should you so desire. There's a couple of little restrictions on that, though, with how often you can do that, and that's just to be fair to people who suggest tracks through regular means, you know, through Facebook or Instagram or YouTube comments. But the option is there, should you so desire. If you do make a suggestion through those regular means, you know, through comments on the video or on my Facebook or Instagram, do know it might take me a while to get around to your suggestion, because I do get suggested so many tracks every single day that my list grows faster than I can record the videos. And the channel having been down for a couple of weeks this year, you know, my list grew whilst I wasn't even recording anything, so I've got a bit of a backlog, but I do write every suggestion down, so it will get done eventually. It just might take a while to get around to it. Also, Metalhead Reacts is a proud supporter of the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, a British-based charity whose main goal is to put an end to hate crimes, mainly those involving people of the alternative culture. But I mean, ultimately they want to put an end to all hate crimes, but their main focus is hate crimes towards people of the alternative culture. And it's something that I support very, very strongly, something I'm very, very passionate about, because it's something that never gets spoken about. It's something gets widely ignored, but is a very real problem. Every day around the world, people from the alternative culture are getting attacked violently and verbally, physically. They're getting attacked just purely for the fact that they listen to alternative music or they wear alternative fashion. And nothing ever gets said about it, nothing ever gets reported about it, but it is a very real problem. Every day we hear about all these other hate crimes like sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, religious hatred, what have you. We hear these every single day. From the most violent and heinous of these crimes, from when, where someone gets murdered because of the colour of their skin, or because of their religion, or their sexual orientation, what have you, and down to the most ridiculous and pathetic of these crimes, where entitled white women are calling the police because a family of colour are having a picnic in a public space. We hear every facet of these every single day in all kinds of media. But never do we hear about these people from the alternative culture that are getting beaten to within an inch of their lives just because of the music that they listen to, just because of the clothes that they choose to wear. And we're not just talking about, people getting shoulder rammed as they walk down the street, or people getting insults shouted at them. We're talking about very serious injuries, people getting hospitalised, people coming in with broken bones, and sometimes more life-threatening injuries. And this happens all the time. It happens all the time, but nothing ever gets said, nothing gets done. The last time there was any widespread coverage of this was 13 years ago, when Sophie Lancaster and her boyfriend Rob Maltby were violently attacked by a group of 5 or 6 people whilst they were minding their own business. They were walking home, minding their own business, and they were violently attacked by a group of 5 or 6 people just purely for the fact that they were goths. And they were violently beaten, punched, kicked. They had their heads stamped on so violently that they both ended up in comas. Now, Rob Maltby, he did thankfully survive. He was in a coma for around about a week. I can't remember exactly how long. It might have been a bit longer. But he thankfully survived. Sophie Lancaster, on the other hand, was in a coma for 13 days before she succumbed to her injuries and she died. This young woman was about 20 years old at the time, and she was beaten to death just purely for the fact that she listened to alternative music. Just purely for the fact that she dressed in alternative fashion. And, this happened 13 years ago. And since that happened, we've not heard a single goddamn thing. But I know for a fact that similar attacks have happened, just nothing has been said. Only about a year or two ago, there was a young woman in Glasgow who got attacked in a very similar fashion. She was jumped by the same group of people twice on the same night and beaten, punched, kicked, just because she was into alternative music, just because she was a metalhead. Where was that in the news? No one said a goddamn thing, because she didn't die. And that is unacceptable. We shouldn't have to wait for someone to die before this gets spoken about. You hear all these things about these racist idiots on, in America or wherever, calling the police because a black man is walking down the street where he lives, and some entitled Karen thinks, hold on, he must be up to something wrong. We hear that sort of crap every day. There's no actual crime per se. It's just some entitled white woman being a dick, right? We hear that sort of thing almost daily at the moment. But we're not hearing anything about people being beaten to a pulp just because of the music they listen to. This is a much more violent crime. But we're never hearing a thing about it, and that needs to change. And this is what the Sophie Lancaster Foundation is all about. They want to bring this to the forefront. They want more people to know that this sort of thing is happening so we can put a stop to it. We shouldn't have to wait for someone to lose their life before this gets the recognition it deserves. This family, they don't want to see another family go through what they went through when they had to watch their daughter slowly die over the course of 2 weeks. They don't want what happened to their daughter to happen ever again. It should never have happened in the first place. So they want to bring this to the forefront. They want more people to know that this is going on. And they want to put a stop to it, because essentially at the moment we're just letting these people get away with these crimes, and that is not acceptable. Something needs to be done. So if you'd like to find out more about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, there is a link to their website in the description below. You can go over there, find out what they're working on at the moment, find out what their main goal is, because they can explain it a hell of a lot better than I can. And if you can help them out in any small way, obviously don't feel obligated to do so, but if you can help them out in any small way, whether it's something like a small donation through their website, or something like one of these Sophie wristbands, or maybe even this one from their web store, you know, the smallest amount can make the biggest difference. And the sooner we get more people talking about this, the sooner we get more people to realise what is going on, the sooner we can help to stamp out prejudice, hatred and intolerance everywhere. But I'm going to leave that as it is for the time being. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.